all things out there that we want to go and find loads of stuff about, and to bring on fascinating guests, especially on the Tuesday show, and just to make you guys feel like everything is cool, everything's important, everything's wonderful out there. So here we go. We're going to put on the title music. Off we go, and see you guys in a mo. Very good evening to you. It's a lovely Tuesday evening. I hope it's nice and warm wherever you guys are in the world. And very warm welcome to the show. Okay, we're here for the hour until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in Spain time or 8 o'clock in the UK. And tonight's a very different night. I must admit, I feel very privileged to be able to explore, look into, find out more knowledge and gain experience on Hare Krishna. I know a little bit about this, but we're going to get a more in-depth exploration into what Hare Krishna is, and if you're interested in this, what you could do to follow it. And or maybe it's just something you just want to sit back and think, this is interesting. Just eating your dinner there on your lap, on your tray, probably. Is that right? Yeah, it could be. Anyway, very good evening. It's lovely to see so many people coming online already. And already we've got Eleni, and already we've got Denise. A very, very good evening to you. And okay, so just to let you know what's going on here as well. Tomorrow, just to let you know, at 11 o'clock in Spain, 10 o'clock in the UK, we have the wonderful, exciting astrology show with my good friend Guillermo. And always so much, and such a warm, responsive show on that show there as we work with your astrology details. So if you're interested in having an astrology reading tomorrow, we need the following format. We need your date of birth. We need a favourite colour. And we need a question. Just one question. If you ask about 5 questions, that's a nightmare. Anyway, so we'll be working with you guys there to do astrology, numerology, tarot, and spirituality on the readings tomorrow. And isn't in a month different already? Isn't a vibe different already? And yes, it was explorers that go through the show here where we are. And good evening from Paul. Paul was a great help yesterday, helping out on the show. So, but especially with testing this and making sure it's all right. And also Susanna, lovely to see you as well. Okie dokie. I think we're coming up to that sort of time. I think we need to bring on a wonderful, wonderful guest. And I'm just looking for on my sidebar here. Here it is. There it is. Here it is. There it is, whatever you want to say. I'm just looking for the next part. There it is. Yeah. Bring on this. Let's bring on my special guest. It's lovely out there that we get to do a show like this. It reaches out to so many people, and lovely to see more Americans coming on the show, more Australians, New Zealanders, as well as much as Europe. But tonight, let's go and explore the world of Hare Krishna and meet a fantastic man, as you see on the screen here. I should say Jamuna Jivana Das. And a very good evening to you. Very good evening to you. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, hola, and Hare Krishna.
Hola and Hare Krishna. Hola is Spanish. Hare Krishna is... So we had a very brief chat about this yesterday, didn't we? About how you greet people. And you actually say here that you actually say, when you come up to someone, you actually say Hare Krishna. Is that how you introduce someone when you're following this path?
Yeah, well, generally we say Hare Krishna, but if we're talking to one another, we say something slightly different, which is Hare Bol, which actually means chant Hare Krishna.
Okay. Oh,
So
Hare Krishna. Okay.
yes, when we meet each other, we're like Harry Bowl, and that means chant Hare Krishna. It's a kind of little. Some people think it's a little bit more secretive. It's like, but
Oh, okay.
basically just chant Hare Krishna.
Well, it does sound secretive because when you say Harry Bowl, I've never heard of that particular thing. It does sound like a bit of a secret side to it all. Anyway, okay. So, what does Hare Krishna mean in English? Because it sounds like an Indian word.
Oh, they're just different descriptions of God. I mean, Hari is the female. That's Radharani. That's the female aspect of the Godhead, and Krishna is the male aspect of the Godhead. So in Hinduism, you'll always get every every set there's a set of deities. There's a female and a male. So you have Shiva, Parvati, Krishna, Radha, Sita, Ram. There's always a female on the altar. So the feminine aspect is worshipped as much as the masculine aspect in Hinduism.
Ah, that's interesting, isn't it? Because we get carried away with certain religions, thinking that a god is a man. Well, it's when we actually need to acknowledge that there's a feminine and a masculine to make up the whole. So, does this work on a similar type of thing, like yin and yang?
Mm.
That's a good question, isn't it? That's a good question.
Well, I've never been asked that question before, and I'm trying to sort of like, well, look, the yin and yang is a Buddhist symbol,
Okay.
and it's about so I can't really find anything in our philosophy that compares to yin and yang
Okay.
right now.
Okay. That's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. That's great just to know. So, yin and yang being Buddhist and Hare Krishna is the feminine and masculine. So, Hari is the feminine, is that right? And then Krishna is the masculine. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. We know we've got storms in England at the moment. Maybe you've been seeing them as well there. But Karen Holistic says, "Good evening. I'm late. Been below over the wind. Had to collect the rubbish. Oops. Yes, I gather there's a few storms over there. Just to let you know, down here in Spain is a gentle breeze and it's hot sunshine. Oops, I shouldn't say too much about that. There you go. Anyway, good. Okay, so what's the history of being a Hare Krishna? Is this something that's been around for centuries? Has it been around for how long has this been going for?
Well, the kind of the knowledge gets transmitted at different times through the ages. So originally, so basically, in this Hare Krishna philosophy, we're in a Christian philosophy, God is the creator, yeah. But in our philosophy, God is the enjoyer. He doesn't actually have to do anything ever
Job.
at all, right?
Yeah.
Everybody does stuff for him. So Brahma, I don't know if you see, is a four-headed form that sits on a lotus flower. Now, Brahma is the original creator and engineer of the universe, right?
Okay.
So Brahma first gave this knowledge long time ago, and then it got lost, and then the sun god re-gave the knowledge, then it got lost again, and then Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he re-gave the knowledge, and then it kind of got forgotten again, and then in 1486 there was an incarnation in West Bengal of he's an historical character, but he's
Okay.
worshipped as an incarnation of Krishna, the golden avatar. In 1486, he took birth in West Bengal, and he come as a man, but he come in the mood of Krishna's girlfriend, because nobody can love Krishna as much as she can. So he comes with that mood to teach us all how we can love Krishna to the topmost. So basically, this modern Hare Krishna movement, 1486, but it only come to the West in 1965 when it was brought by an Indian guru by the name of Srila Prabhupada.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. We've got some questions here coming through already, and this is fantastic. We actually got Deborah who says here, "I would love to know how Jamuna got his name." So, how did you get that name?
Yeah, well, I was gonna come to that. I'm glad you asked me because I could see that you've been struggling with it.
I just pop that straight up there, thinking, right, okay,
But you've pronounced it different every time. I'm just looking forward to the next one. But right,
okay. I'm just looking here the different typos we got here. This is fabulous.
pronounce Jamuna Jivana or Yamuna Yivana because they don't. The J is very much like Spain.
Yeah,
It's pronounced as a Y in India. So Yamuna Yivana is how they would say it in India,
Yamu
right?
Evener. Okay, okay, so it's a bit
Okay,
like people
it's
in
you
Javier. They don't say Javia. They say Javier. Yes.
exactly. So basically, your guru gives you your spiritual name, and normally, right now, my original name was Joe Donovan, so it had a J in it, and it's got the G-Van sound in it as well. So he kind
Oh,
of he looks at your original name and he goes, "Oh, he's not that. He's actually this." And he'll name you a spiritual name that's involved with one of Krishna's spiritual pastimes. Now, Jamuna is a river in India,
okay.
and it's the same river that George Harrison had his ashes spread into because
He liked that, didn't he? He was very much into the following of Hare Krishna.
he's a great soul. He was a really and he bought the big temple in Watford called the Bhaktivedanta Manor. He bought that for the devotees back in the day. So yeah, so the river Jamuna and Jivana means life of, right? And then Das just means to serve. So basically, my name is I'm the servant of Jamuna Jivana, and it's a name of Krishna. Krishna is the life of the river Jamuna, and he plays in the river with his friends and his girlfriends and so on and so forth. So my name is to support that river playing pastime.
Okay, that really makes it sound. I tell you what, I love this because in England we just go and call someone Bob. But I'm just trying to think, right? How do we get this amazing information to call someone Bob when you can call Yamuna Hivana Das? I mean, that's you don't find many people like that nowadays, do you? But it's brilliant, brilliant. So is this something that you get up in the morning and would a Hare Krishna be doing prayers or something? Was there a ritual of some kind? What is it that you would do?
I mean, yeah, definitely. And the temple devotees, it starts at about 4:30 a.m. And yeah, they're all up at 4:30 a.m. and they do this thing called Tulsi Puja, which is basically Tulsi is a sacred basil plant from India, and it's worshipable. So they worship this plant, and so basically
I'll
at
never
four
look
thirty
at basil the same way again.
at 4:30 in the morning, if you could see inside a Hare Krishna temple, you've got a bunch of people dancing around a tree, singing songs, and
I could
then,
do that. I could do
and
that definitely, but
and
not at
then
4:30.
you give the tree 3 drops of water. Everybody gives the tree 3 drops of water, and then you bow down and say a little prayer in front of her. And that's called. So that's how you start the day. That's called Tulsi Arti. And then the next thing it's Mangal Arti, which is where the curtains open and you see the day it is first thing in the morning at like 4:30. Then we have when we get initiated, we get a second initiation. The men get a sacred thread. Apparently the women don't need it because the thread's to soften our heart, and the women's hearts are already soft enough.
Of course
Apparently.
they are. Of course they are. Of course they are. I mean, Susanna, wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, Deborah, wouldn't you agree? All your women's hearts there. I mean, Paul, what's your heart like? Do you need a bit? I think you need a bit of string here. Okay. And yes, okay. And the producer, I mean, Denise, I'm sure you've got one of these hearts as well. She's there as well. So fantastic. I mean, I'm not, this is enjoyable. I'm not, definitely not mocking this at all. We're not. It is just so interesting, and the way you put it across is brilliant. So this is lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yeah. So well, I can't even remember.
You were saying about
So you get
the
thread,
different
you get your
initiations of the thread.
thread,
Yes.
and You have to say with your sacred thread. You say you do. They're called Gayatri mantras, and it's basically offering respect to the universe and the different gods and the planet and everything. So you do that when you first get up, and then you do one at lunchtime and one in the evening. If you're very, very busy, you're allowed to do all three straight off. If you've got like if you work, because there's also, I mean, you would probably get to ask me this, but I'll move on to it now. There's two types of devotees within the temple. So you've probably seen the traditional Hare Krishnas wearing orange robes,
Yep.
saffron,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Have you seen the ones wearing white robes?
No.
Right.
No, I haven't. Other guys here, guys out there, have you seen the Hare Krishnas wearing white robes? Come on, scribe in.
So the different, I'm just going to cut to the chase, right? The orange robes mean that they've renounced women, basically, and they're celibate monks. That's what the orange.
Oh, sorry, ladies out there. I'm sorry about
that. And the guys that wear white, they're married or intend to be married, but some sneaky people put orange on because they think they're going to get more attention from the women if they think they're going to get married, if they're not going to get married.
That's why we got orange on our board here. Look at all the orange we got.
Yeah, so basically it's saffron. Saffron's supposed to protect you from lust, basically.
Dust. Did you say
lust?
Oh, lust.
Lust with a la.
Oh, dear. This is brilliant. So orange protects you from lust. Okay. All right. We'll take the orange down. Well, no. We need some lust. We need some lust on this down. Sorry. Okay. Right. Yes. Deborah says here that she loves seeing Hare Krishna in orange robes. Always happy and always very friendly. Yes. And it is lovely talking to these guys. And I know a lot of people thoroughly enjoy talking to them. Sorry?
She said the orange ones always look really happy. That's the ones that don't have wives.
Oh, crikey. I'm not saying a word.
So we need to look for some white guys.
The white guys with a bit of orange on them. They want dust and lust. Anyway, right. Okay. Okay. Susanna says she grows saffron. And right now, just coming back here to a question, which is, do Hare Krishnas have a special diet?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's up for debate now because technically, the Hare Krishnas worship the cow. Yeah. So.
Right. Okay, I've heard this. Yeah.
So this is the problem. You can't worship a cow and love a cow and eat commercial dairy, right? Okay. Because there's so much cruelty in that industry. So over the last 5 years, 5 or 10 years, there's been a battle between the people that we need to. If you don't own the cow yourself and it's not a pet, like a pet dog or a pet cat, then you shouldn't really. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, in India they have pet cows. Yeah, they have pet cows. They treat them like the dogs or the cats, family members. I've seen cows that have their own little house next door, and that's the cow's house.
Imagine taking the cow for a walk, saying sit, stay. Okay, this sounds brilliant.
Yes,
okay.
I mean, basically, there's a lot of Hare Krishnas that take dairy and eat dairy. A lot of devotees are saying you should only really take it if you own the cow or if you know someone that's owned the cow. Then there's no cruelty involved. The cow's children are not going to be taken away and murdered and slaughtered, and etc. etc. So it's vegetarian, but cruelty free. So ahimsa is the official name. I'm a vegan because I just don't have room for a cow in my house, and I don't even know how I'd be able to look after one anyway. To be honest,
I'm not even going to argue that comment there because I'm not even going to tempt where you're going to.
No, I'm not going now.
Deborah says, love a cow. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, no, but we're not going there.
There's one that just jumped over the moon. Oh dear. Okay, so your diet.
I mean, really and truly, your food should be organic because everything that we eat, we offer to Krishna first. We've got our little deities on the altar. We've got a little gold plate. So if I cook a meal, I'll take a little portion of out of each pot, a little bit of rice, a little bit of all the different curries, a little bit of bread, and then I'll take this and then I'll put it on the altar and I'll say a prayer, leave it for 5 minutes, and then the whole of the meal becomes like the bread at church. When you take Jesus's body at church, the whole of the meal then becomes purified, and it's
Okay.
called prasadam, which is
Pardon.
Prastadam, which means the same as God, equal to God, or God's food,
Okay.
basically.
Because a lot of those cultures out there, you go from India, you go out to China, they all do this, don't they? Where they have a lot of food on the altar. I mean, the Taoists, the Taoists, they have a lot of food, a lot of fruit on the altars, and they worship their food, but also they bless water. They bless water before you do it. So if you've, for instance, a lot of to do with how we looked at the science of water over the past 10 years or so with Dr. Emoto. Dr. Emoto, he's actually done a blessing of water and looked at it under a microscope and how water comes up in a beautiful crystal pattern when it's frozen. But if you shout hatred or devil or anger at water, it comes up as like rusty nuts and bolts under a microscope. So it's interesting when you give food
Intention and
blessing.
the energy
Yeah,
that you put in is really, really amazing, and the power of the mind. I mean, I've got a short little story. There was for some reason, a guru told his disciple that he couldn't really he was getting too old to actually do the physical work of the deity worship. So
yeah.
his guru said to him, just do it in your mind. So he'd go through all this process of cooking the meal in his mind and everything. And one day he burnt himself in the meditation. When he come out of the meditation, he had a big blister in exactly the same place as he'd burnt himself in the meditation. So it's really interesting. What's the reality? This reality that we're in, or there are other realities that we can actually enter with our mind
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
are
Okay.
reality.
Now that sounds yeah, because even in hypnosis, things like this, you can suggest something to the mind, and the body will experience it, and it comes
Yeah,
up with a mirror image of it. So in a meditation, which is similar to hypnosis, yes, I believe you can actually do something like that and get a response like that. Yes, yeah, okay, and okay, so so we talked a little bit about the praying if the praying or chanting is more chanting by the sound of it, I think, isn't
oh,
it?
yeah. I mean, for your first initiation, before you get your second initiation, before you get your Gayatri mantras, when you get your name, your guru will give you a set of chanting beads that he's already chanted on. There's 108 beads on one set of chanting beads, and you take each bead and you chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare on each bead, and work your way round. And when you take first initiation, you make a commitment that you're going to do that for about 2 hours every day.
Okay. 2 hours you take commitment every hour every day. And what does this bring to
Oh,
Hare Krishna?
oh, oh.
Oh, here
Um,
we go. Here we
I know
go.
you give me an opportunity to go deep. So right, basically, we have our physical body, and then we have what's known as the subtle body. In a lot of holistic therapy, they call this subtle body the field. Bruce Lipton calls it the field. And so we have the subtle body, the physical body, and then what we've got is the seed of a spiritual body.
Okay.
And so what chanting actually does is the subtle body isn't actually a good thing. That's what binds us to the material universe. So when we die, the subtle body takes all our karma, all our faults, all our desires. It's all there in the subtle body, and that takes it to our next body, so we can carry on from
Okay.
where we were, where we left off karmically. So by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, you slowly dissolve the subtle body, and you're giving little drops of food to the seed, or the little plant that's just the little spiritual plant that's just started to grow in your heart, that's your spiritual body. So it dissolves the subtle body and it feeds the spiritual body, in essence.
Okay. Now it's very interesting, isn't it? Especially as Deborah puts it, she puts other realities, and I think that's an important part. I think it's especially in the spiritual world that we're in nowadays. There is a big need to go through this lifetime, and at the end of it, know what you've learnt and take the good bits with you and release all the negativity along the way. By the sounds of it, Hare Krishna, by the way you're doing the chanting there, Hare Hare Krishna, and all the chanting that you do releases all this, which is fantastic, because that's what we need to do in our world, don't we? Really need
Yeah,
to get that energy.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the mantra, you don't have to be an Hare Krishna to chant Hare Krishna and feel its effects. It's there for everybody. It's free, and you can just chant it and see what happens.
Okay, no, brilliant. And I think that's a big part, though, isn't it? That through this journey of life here, we've got to be responsible to ourselves. If we believe in past lives and future lives, that somewhere about this life here, the karma that we've got to work through. And before we get to the end of it, is be able to say, here, I've done it, I'm releasing it, I'm not taking it on to the next life, especially stuff which we've may have found hard or difficult, which is what sometimes a lot of karma is, isn't it? It's not always easy. You have to work through something. Do you think here that when you start chanting this, do you sense that you're releasing old karma as you do this?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you definitely are. It says in that's what it's doing. It's clearing your old karma.
Okay.
That's exactly what it does.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. You said something, and I can't remember. I was.
We said about going through this life and releasing karma and how that helps there. And also we're talking about spirituality and how people need to be more aware before we get to the end of this life here, is to release the karmas that we don't need in order for us to go into the next world and to be free of that old energy, the old energy of this life.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I can't really expand on that point, but I definitely.
Camera keeps moving in a minute for some reason. Okay, right. So, do Hare Krishnas then believe in reincarnation?
Oh yeah, that's a major, major, major part of our philosophy. Also, when people talk about reincarnation, generally they just think about coming back as a human being, but it's like, the soul, the jiva. In India, the soul, Jiva, or Atma. In Spanish, it's Alma. And, Mahatma Gandhi, just while we're on the subject, because we're talking about Atma, which is soul, Maha means great, and Atma means soul. So Mahatma means great soul. So Mahatma Gandhi means great soul Gandhi. That's
Okay.
just while we're on.
That makes sense. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
while we're talking about it, and now I forgot what I was talking about. Try it.
Do they have something to recall memory with?
Afraid not. I think old age just affects us all eventually.
Anyway, there we go. Right. Okay. So yes, do they believe it? So we're talking about reincarnation.
Yeah. Reincarnations are like a massive and cross species as well. So basically, if you live your life like a dog, you're probably going to take birth as a dog in your next life. If you live your life like a pig or a cow or a sheep or whatever animal you kind of live like, there's a very good chance you'll take birth. So, most people don't live like human beings in this world today. Their consciousness is much the same as an animal's consciousness. It's like eating, maintaining, and reproducing is what and fighting and protecting. That's what most. And all the animals do that. We have another facility. We're able to look for things on a higher level spiritually. That's the difference between human beings and the animals. But if you don't behave yourself, you could come back as a monkey or a pig or a dog or a cat or whatever.
We can come back to being a cow in India and get worshipped.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I'm just kind of attached to the human form, really. I don't fancy the idea of being a cow. No, I don't know.
I'll be careful there. I'm going to step very carefully in this direction. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so this is so interesting having a conversation like this. So when it comes to how many different how does someone in England or Spain or anywhere else in the world, where do you find the temples? Is this something you look up in on Facebook or online? Just think nearest here at Hare Krishna temple. Is it a temple that you call it?
You most likely could Google it. I mean, a friend of mine was given a book by the devotees, and I'll probably explain a little bit more in detail shortly. But he was given a book by the devotees, and in the back of that book, it's as the addresses of all the temples.
Okay.
So basically, the Hare Krishnas, that for years they just you've seen it, obviously in some of the movies as well. I think it was in Airplane. There's Hare Krishnas giving out books
Yes.
and
Yeah.
flowers at the and someone punches them on the nose or something.
I think that
something
was an airplane, wasn't it? Yeah.
something along those lines. Yeah, I mean they've been in a lot of movies as well. The Hare Krishnas,
Yes.
Woody Allen movie. They've been in a lot of movies. So Hollywood's kind of attracted to the Hare Krishnas for some reason.
Yes. Okay, so if you were to define the difference between a Hare Krishna and a Buddhist, what would be the difference?
Right. Um, in terms of practice, it's very, very similar. A lot of meditating, a lot of chanting, a lot of bell ringing. In terms of philosophy, it's really different.
Okay.
Really, 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 really different. I mean, basically, the Hindus drove the Buddhists out of India. That's how different the philosophy is. At one point, the Hindus drove the Buddhists out of India. So the Buddhist philosophy is what we call it's an impersonal philosophy. Is that they believe that everything's coming from energy,
Yes. Yeah.
and that we come from that energy, and we can merge back with that energy, but everything's equal. The energy, us, we're all the same. There's no kind of difference. So when you merge back into the energy, you have to give up your individuality. So
Okay.
the Buddhist kind of goal is to give up the individuality, give up emotions, etc., etc. But the difference is with the Hare Krishnas, our goal is to change our emotions from material emotions to transcendental emotions. So if you love Krishna, Krishna's a transcendental being. So that love for Krishna then becomes transcendental because Krishna's not in this world, he's in his own transcendental kingdom. So by focusing on what's transcendental, then you become transcendental. But by focusing on what's material, then you become more absorbed into the material parts of life.
Mm. What's interesting about this, I think, and when we look at 2020 and the astrology of 2020, and we'll come into astrology in just a moment, that we looked at everybody was discussing last year, it's a big topic this year about the Saturn Pluto conjunction and religions, beliefs, which was Jupiter. Jupiter was a big part of this as well, and how we're now changing our energies from being more masculine, or if we call it practical, or working on the material side of life, and now turning ourselves more into a belief system and bringing out more of our femininity. And I think it's a very interesting year if we're looking for a new belief system, looking for something to tune more, whether we're male or female, to bring out the femininity in our lives, to be able to tune to something which has a belief. Now it's interesting here because I think more guys that I'm talking to at the moment are so much happier to let go of a lot more material things they've had to work for, because the work was like 9 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, and sometimes overtime for another 2 hours. And how difficult sometimes this was, that people actually saying, guys especially saying, I don't want to work those hours. I want to have a life away from the material where they've earned so much money they can buy big cars. Just saying, no, I'm quite happy with the runaround, but I want to spend more time with the people that I love. And I think it's interesting, this year especially is bringing out more this spirituality. And I think maybe Krishna's going to get a lot more followers now, and more understanding. Because when we go back into the past, the 70s and the 80s, we always saw Krishna and Hare Krishna as being a bit, and excuse me for saying this, I'm not insulting anybody here, it's just an observation, is it always a bit woo-woo. It was a bit too strange. Too
Totally,
strange.
totally,
But as
totally.
we're evolving, it's interesting. I think more and more people are becoming interested in wanting to follow something which has a higher realm to it, away from this practical world or this material world that we've been so used to, and looking for something which has a higher purpose. And it's interesting here, especially what we're going through this moment in September. And it's something I'd like to bring up with Guillermo tomorrow and yourself tonight, is I think we've got the opportunity in this month to meditate more, to open up our consciousness more, and to let go of anxiety, to let go of stress, and to let go of these things and help ourselves to become more connected within our heart and more connected to our spirit. And I think this is quite a big thing. Now, how would we say here, and I'll come on to other questions in a minute which are coming through. How do you think that the chanting in itself is something that relieves anxiety, or is there a different method that?
No, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They've done experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's all been done, and our brain patterns. The people that chant Hare Krishna regularly have different brain patterns to people that don't.
Now, isn't that interesting? Because I would totally agree with you. Totally believe that. Believe that if you have a higher following, a higher purpose, and you believe in that dimension. And this is the interesting thing, because September is about dimensions. We're looking now into different dimensions. Now, having you on at the first part of September, oh, actually, it's still in August, but we're coming in September very, very shortly. I think it's a very interesting time to start off this era, this period we're going through with having a belief in something of a higher energy or dimension, or as we say, transcendental being, or in that transcendental meditation, as we say here. Yet we say that, but we don't necessarily know what it means. And
Yeah.
yeah, yes. Okay, so is there the following of astrology in? Um,
Yeah, astrology is huge in India. They used to do everything by astrology, and I've got friends. A friend of mine, lead singer of a band called Kula Shaker.
yes,
Had Krishna on. They had a number one album.
yes.
Basically Krishna is my friend and my god brother. We have the same guru. So there was a point where they wouldn't do anything without having somebody's chart done first. A manager, didn't matter who it was, where they were going, what venues, people who was in charge of the venues, agents. They was like somehow getting hold of people's date of birth and places of birth and having charts done on them before they would even think about doing any business with them. So yeah, it's a really, really big thing. But personally, it also says in the books that, if you go in front of the deities and in the temple and you clap your hands, the lines on the palms of your hands change. So that means that by going in front of the deities and clapping it, your destiny changes. So it's really, really difficult for the astrology to be accurate when you're doing so much devotional service and your destiny's changing as well. So I'm personally not too fussed about astrology. I definitely don't live my life by it, but
Okay.
it's a very, very powerful force. And that everybody in India has different crystal rings to, we've got to protect ourselves from K2, or we've got to protect ourselves from this or that. So all the rings, they'll be on their hands for a meaning.
Yeah.
It's not for decoration. It's like nearly all the
Okay.
crystals to balance stuff out that's going on. So, crystals, astrology, that's all coming from India. And there's another thing called Vastu, which
Yes.
is basically Indian feng shui, basically. And all the temples and all the buildings are built based by the Vastu knowledge. Vastu, I believe it's spelled.
Okay. Now that's fascinating, because you've got the feng shui, which is you've got to put your and Deborah, my wife and also producer, she's very strong about putting certain plants, certain energies, certain objects in a house here in certain corners to attract. Like she says, there's your money corner, there's your wealth corner, there's your happiness corner, there's the marriage corner, and building those energies there. And actually, I'm not knocking it. It works. It works. And I think when people come into a room and they notice a certain point in an area of the house, they go, "Oh, that looks nice." I mean, there's a statue. There's a statue there of a great goddess there, which is Isis, goddess Isis. And we think of Isis as being a terrorist group, but we go back to the Indian philosophies, and Isis was a beautiful, beautiful woman who brought love and peace to the world.
Egyptian, was she, Isis?
Yes, Egyptian. Beg your pardon. Yes.
Morris?
Yes. Thank you very much for correcting me there. Egyptian. Yes. Now, yes. So we and that'd be interesting to talk about that at some particular point. Do you actually follow that? Do you actually look at it and say, "Okay, I'm going to put certain objects in the house at certain places"? Is that something that you would look at yourself?
No. I'm really lazy.
No.
I just chant Hare Krishna. I mean, look, that's my faith is fully in that mantra. Full.
Okay.
That mantra can give you everything. There's nothing that mantra can't give you. So I just put all my energy into that and less energy into all the little decorating bits that go around it, to be honest.
Fantastic. It's probably in its own little, not feng shui. What do you call it?
Vastu.
Yes. Vastu. We're going to look up Vastu, and then we'll get you back on, and you're going to have to find out something about it, and then you're going to talk about it. How's that?
Yeah, that's all right. No problem.
Right.
No, I know someone that has got. He runs a company doing Vastu for people. So
okay,
that's not a problem.
Okay, because it sounds like here we used to go back in 70s and 80s. It's almost like you didn't really know many people who were in it. So those ones that you did, you didn't think, well, they are. But actually, it's dare I say, it's the word I could use, which isn't right, but it's almost fashionable.
Yeah, it has its phases, doesn't it? It has its phases. I mean, when Boy George was.
Yes.
Yeah, he did that whole song, "Put the tilak on your brow, Hare Krishna," and then the mantras in that song. You know, it's a really good video actually. If you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. But now you know a little bit more.
Yes,
it's really interesting to watch.
Definitely. Do Hare Krishna believe in ghosts and the spirit realm? Sorry if I just cut you short there. Sorry, what were you just saying the last bit?
I was talking about Russell Brand as well. He's a Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Or he was. I'm not sure whether that's the thing with the trendy ones. 1 minute they are, and then they're not anymore. So I don't think Boy George is anymore, and I don't think is so much.
Okay.
But they do help to promote it. When they're into it, a lot more people sort of their eyes open up and they come along and they get interested.
I think if you have a belief system in one of the Eastern religions, I don't think you're going to go wrong in life. I think you'll find a great balance, whether it's Hare Krishna, Buddhism, Taoism, any of those different belief systems there, I think are absolutely beautiful. They are so peaceful. And what I love about it all is, I know we don't say it's about any others, but it's very, very, it's whether you want to believe in a being up there as a god or a being as an energy, it's there. And spirituality very much runs out of, is like part of Hinduism. And I think it's also part of Hare Krishna. And in a way that we believe about living our lives and living a philosophy there to love thyself and love people, respect yourself and people respect you. I think it's all part of a spiritual way in itself. Okay, do Hare Krishna believe in ghosts and the spirit realm?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many dimension and realms that are mentioned in the different books. I couldn't name them all or give you information about them all. I mean, one thing did catch my eye in one particular book called the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a huge, huge book. And it basically said that there's a dimension that's only occupied by women. And every so often they kidnap a man and intoxicate him on cannabis indica and then take advantage of him,
Bless him,
basically.
the poor bloke.
I know. I mean,
Poor man, I feel very sorry for him.
One of the stories that caught my eye about
I wonder why it caught your eye anyway. Right.
other dimensions. I mean, it was like, wow, that's a bit strong. But yes, there's other dimensions. What was the question again?
Talking about, do Hare Krishna believe in ghosts? Do Hare Krishna believe in ghosts in the spirit realm?
So I was talking about the subtle body earlier, and the subtle body carries you from your physical body to like a reincarnation station for a while, and then you get reincarnated. But sometimes, occasionally, nasty people that are not very nice, they lose the opportunity to get another physical body for a while. Okay. So they end up wandering around in the subtle body, and that's what ghosts are. And apparently there's loads of them. They're everywhere, and they like to sit up in trees most of the time. But they're all over the place.
I think it's called Special Branch.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is just funny. It's brilliant. Paul says that he's free. He wants to be taken off the earth plane by these women and fed cannabis and all sorts. We get all sorts here. So we'll put a word in for you. If you suddenly disappear, Paul, we know what's happened.
And I'll see if I can find out where the portals are.
Yeah. He'll be there in a minute. Yeah. Paul, you don't know what you're getting into there, buddy. You don't know what you're getting into. Yes. It's nice that everybody's laughing and everybody's enjoying it. That's fantastic. It's lovely to have a happy show like this and just find out this information and just bounce on it. It's absolute magic. And okay, so how can people get hold of you?
It's just through my Facebook. My Facebook's all wide open, so if anyone wants to contact me, it's fairly easy to get in touch with me through my Facebook.
Okay. Now,
then I run a charity that distributes, because the Hare Krishnas for years would sell the books on the street, and after a little while it became more about making money than actually making people spiritual, in my opinion. So I started a charity where we would get donors to donate large sums of money, and then we would buy the books and give the books to people for free. I've still got some books in the UK at my mum's house. If anyone wants a book, get in touch with me and I'll mail them a book next time I'm over.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, if you could bring one, if it's okay with you to bring one back.
I know, I've got a box of books. I've got a box of books.
Show people what these books look like. I've got a box of books
in Spain as well. So.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Tanya's getting on this now. Right. Okay. This is getting quite sexist. This is a bit sexist. Okay. First of all, why do these ghosts sit in trees?
Oh, I don't know. They ain't got nowhere else to sit, I suppose.
There's a bench, surely.
Well, yeah, but if you're sitting, if you're sitting on the bench, someone might come and sit on you. At least if you're sitting up in the tree, you haven't got that people come and sitting on you or driving through you or walking through you, have you? You're kind of out the way. I mean, that's just my kind of.
There's a bird above you. Oh, thanks. Is that why I've been stuck in this particular life? Oh, another one.
You don't have to be a ghost to have to suffer from being shit on by a bird. Excuse my French.
This is so entertaining. So entertaining. Okay, right. So when you look at a tree, guys, you're going to notice something else going on in that tree. It's not just birds. Okay.
And then you get ghost attacks as well, which I mean, we're as Hare Krishnas, we're quite conscious of it and we talk about it to one another, but normal people don't. I mean, it's basically you're sleeping, but suddenly you feel like there's a presence in the room, and you try to wake up, but no matter how hard you try, you can't open your eyes. And sometimes it feels like there's a weight on your body. Sometimes it feels like somebody's holding your shoulders down.
Yes.
And the only way you can wake up, you sort of have to use every ounce of strength in your body and sort of like force yourself to wake up. Well, that's a psychic attack. That's a ghost attack. They're vamping your energy when that happens.
Yes.
So, I because I chant a lot and I keep certain things in my room. If I misbehave and do stuff, if I drink alcohol or do stuff that I shouldn't really do, I'm more likely to get a ghost attack.
Okay.
So so there's sometimes I'll put deities at the end of my bed if I'm getting a cut. If I've had periods where I've had quite a few ghost attacks in 1 week, so I've stuck a picture of a deity at the end of the bed, a mean form of Krishna in a lion form deity of Krishna, and then I never get any more ghost attacks.
I don't think you get anybody in your bed with that bloody thing at the end of it. You're frying alive, everybody. I'm not getting that bed with that thing there. Is it alive?
Oh dear God.
Maria says it's very interesting. Now, this is interesting here because I'm not sure what Tonya means here, but she wants to know this bit where 4 women come along and they take away a man and they feed him with cannabis and do all sorts of.
I don't know if it's 4 women or women. It's just
shocking,
women.
Shocking, isn't it? Anyway, right. So, anyway, Tonya says here, have 4 men on me. So I think that means, okay, I think maybe she's asking, she wants 4 of these men to go and whisk her off and feed her all sorts of funny things, and funny things happen. Yeah, maybe, Tonya, you do need a lion at the end of the bed. That, mind you, that would attract men, I think. Anyway, right. Or tell me to stop the ghost. So I think the other thing to go and do is to have a branch in your bedroom. Oi, not on me. Get on your branch. Get back up there. Up there. Oh dear. So, okay, another question here, because why do Hare Krishna's funny 4 men asking what they want to ask you to go into that world and feed you all sorts of funny things and do funny things? Is that what you mean, Tonya? This is hilarious.
For men asking, have we got any more information for men asking about these women? How do they find out how to get taken to this?
Yeah, the women are asking how to get taken by men to this funny place. It's not just the women are asking, the men are as well.
Now I'm really confused.
Yes, okay, all right. Oh my God, anyway. Anyway, so the other bit here. Now you got now. Excuse me, here. I'm not criticising dating. She's dating these ghosts. This is hilarious. So they've come through from the other world to feed you cannabis and do funny things, and now they're taking you out. Tonya, this is amazing. You must be blessed. You must be one of the higher orders there. Something going on there. That's incredible. Anyway, right. So I think I know what she means. Anyway, so just go back into this. Your, if I can ask about this, the twirly bits of hair. What is that? What's that a symbol of? What does that mean?
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I can get to cover so many subjects with that one thing, right? So basically, you mean like when you see their head shaved, not like mine's just a man bun, right? But you mean when you see their head shaved and then they've got a ponytail at the back? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, that thing there, there's worldly bit up there. Yes.
Well, yeah, basically the piece of hair that's about, generally Hare Krishnas have a longer piece of hair at the back, right?
Okay.
And so in India, like you said earlier, there's various types. There's those that believe that God is a person, and there's those that believe that God is an energy.
Yeah.
So basically, those that believe that God is an energy that occasionally manifests personalities to visit the material world, they have all their hair shaved off.
Okay. Right.
Those that believe that God is a personality with mystical energies, they have the piece of hair at the back. So it's just so that people could look at them and go, oh, they believe in God as a person, as opposed to those that believe in God as an energy. That's basically it.
Okay. So that that whirl of hair represents, or your ponytail there represents that there's
believe that God is a personality with energies rather than an energy with personalities.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Absolutely, I'm as clear.
That makes sense to you or not? I can see your face to me looks like, I'm confused.
Yes, okay. All right. I'll go along with this. And I wonder if Tonya's got one of those personalities. I think she is here because she's been chosen by these 4 beings to come in and take her away and do amazing things. And she must have a great life, Tonya. Blimey. Anyway, so yes. Anything else that you would like to talk about as a Harry?
I've just seen a question here from Deborah that says, "Do Hare Krishnas have special funeral rites?"
Ah, yes. Now, brilliant. Thank you for asking me that. I'm going to come back to that. Yes. 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 Okay. You should just put that. Mm-hmm.
Shall I answer that now, or do you want me to?
I think that'd be great to answer that now. That'd be marvellous.
Okay, so yes, the answer is yes. I talked about the Tulsi plant earlier, didn't I? The holy basil that we all dance around in the morning at 4:30 and say special prayers to. So basically, when a Hare Krishna dies, every opening on their body, they have Tulsi leaves stuffed in it. So in your ears, in your eyes, up your nostrils. I'm not sure whether they put them up your bum, because I'm not sure that would be respectful, but it's a possibility. As far as I'm aware, it's every single opening on your body has Tulsi leaves shoved in it, and then you'll be cremated, and they'll just chant Hare Krishna at your cremation. So.
Okay. That sounds. I'm just having visions. Oh dear. Okay, and so when you have, is this something that you believe that you're buried and your body goes into the ground? Is it real? Is it? Do you have? Is it?
It's all cremated. I mean, in India, that they're so not about the body. So basically, when you're 5 at school in India, they take you to the crematorium and show you the body's burning. They just get a body and they build a fire around the body and they set light to the fire, and the kids all go at 5 years old and watch the body burning, and they say to the kids, right, so you're not that body. You're a spirit soul. You're not that body that you're in. You're a spirit.
You're nobody. Which body?
I mean, and the bodies are carried through the streets as well, Phil. There's no coffin. Death isn't hidden in India. If somebody dies,
it's not, is it?
Their bodies are just carried above their head. So it's like we put it off. We try to avoid it. Don't talk about death. Don't we really
very
try
true,
to avoid
very
it.
true.
Whereas death is a massive part of life in India. It's a huge part of life. Death. It's
I think that changed around the 7th century in the Western world with Emperor Constantine about death, because the Hare Krishna, a lot of the Hindus, a lot of the Buddhists believe in reincarnation, where that they didn't like that. The Christians didn't like the idea of reincarnation, because a lot of people were saying here, okay, if I suffered in this life, don't worry, I'll have a great one next one. And they didn't like that, losing that control. So where they're concerned here, and you often hear about people very openly talking about, naturally discussing about past lives and future lives, and what they can, how their lives were to what they're going to be, and that sort of belief there. What's the connection? Now, maybe this is Buddhist, but no, it's not, because I've seen the guys in the orange robes here. What's the connection with the tiger?
Tiger.
Yes, a wildcat with black and orange stripes.
No, it wasn't the actual tiger. I should have said connection. Because it was the connection that I was struggling with, not the actual word tiger. I know what a tiger is. I've been dreamed of being chased by tigers before. So, well, I don't know. Apart from the tiger is one of the so Ganesh rides a rat, and Durga, Shiva's wife, rides a tiger. So it's one of the creatures that's used for transport. But apart from that, I don't really know. There's nothing coming up that's really striking about the tiger.
Okay, because I've seen some wonderful photographs of monks in their orange robes, and they're actually stroking tigers because they're tamed, or they're
that's in Thailand, definitely. There's a in Thailand where you can go with the tigers. So,
okay, Tonya, if you're about tomorrow, you say, "Lola, who do I choose?" Good God! Okay, you got 4 men here. Are these gods that you got chasing you? These Hare Krishna gods that come down and whisked you away, and you got to choose one of them, or is this just 4 guys? Now, if you've got 4 guys chasing you, just enjoy. I mean, as a Hare Krishna, when you got 4 women chasing you, what would you do?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Four. Okay, so you got 4 men chasing you. Well, what I'd say here is, Tonya, is on the astrology show tomorrow. We'd love to answer that one because I think it'd be fantastic. And it's lovely you got 4 people chasing you, or 4 guys chasing you, and I don't catch up with you. Anyway, yes, man, we'll answer that for you. How's that? And you say it's my fault. Thank you very much, because she says that I predicted this. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, so yes, we'll have a good chat here. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this show. It's been brilliant. But we're still going on a couple of questions here. Can I ask you this? So are children born Hare Krishna, or do they have a choice?
Well, it's kind of like, you know what? It's not uniform throughout so some people live in the temple, some people live outside around the temples, and some people don't live anywhere near a temple and just have their little own setup, which I've got with my little deities and my little temple.
Yeah.
So it's a personal choice, basically. I brought my children up with all the knowledge of Hare Krishna, but I sent them to an ordinary school, so they learnt about Christianity and everything else at an ordinary school, and they had ordinary friends, but they also got to meet the devotees and let them both make their choices. I mean, my eldest is a vegan, and she's definitely into the Indian deities. She's more into Shiva. They go through different phases, the kids. They kind of like find it they get a little bit embarrassed. I mean, I know there's a girl in Spain that I met, and my name Jamuna Jivana Das. If you're a Hare Krishna, that you know that I'm a Hare Krishna,
Okay.
right? With that name. Right, there's no ifs or buts about it. But she knew me for ages, and then I was looking on her Instagram, and her mum was playing a ukulele, singing Hare Krishna, and I looked, and they had little neck beads on like me, and I've spoken to her since, and now she's like kind of come out, so to speak. But she was kind of like hiding. So I think a lot of the kids are a bit embarrassed about it because they don't think it's that cool, you know, that their parents are these religious kind of freaks.
Actually, but the way we've spoken about tonight, it does sound cool.
Well, it is.
It is cool. Of course, you're going to be a bit biased as anything, but no. Actually, me listening to it, I've had great interest in this. Just listening to this, I think it's been absolutely fascinating. And but it's so if you can, I think it's great to go and experience everything. So I think going up into a normal school to go and understand everything about all the cultures and all the religions, all the beliefs, I think is where you get a wide outlook on life. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, I had that, and I made the choice myself. It was, you know, so I figured if it's their destiny, it will find them, you know. And one time, my daughter Grace, Hare Krishna name is Gopali. I broke up with my first wife, and she said to me one day, she wasn't very into the kids getting into the Hare Krishna thing. She wasn't really into me getting into the Hare Krishna thing. I think it contributed to our breakup. But
Okay.
she basically said to me one day, she went, right, here's the dates. I'm going on holiday with my friend. We were already broken up. She said, you got to have the kids for a week. So I'm like, yeah, that's all right. About a week later, someone phoned and said, oh, Guru Dave's coming over on these dates. And when I looked, it was the dates that I had the kids for the week. So I took them to meet me guru and got them initiated, as you do. So Gopali, her Christian name was Grace, and she got called Gopali. And Taylor, her Christian name was Taylor, she got called Tulsi. So Gopali recently, they've got boyfriends, you know, they've got kids, boyfriends. They just lived normal lives. They didn't really follow that as much as me. But recently, she was out with her boyfriend, and she was in a sweet shop, and she noticed that they had a picture of Krishna behind the counter. They were English people, so she said, "Oh, you've got Krishna behind the counter." They went, "Yeah, we're Hare Krishnas. Do you want to come and see our temple?" So they took her upstairs. She said, when they took her in the room, she said, I couldn't control myself, Dad. I just started crying. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just in floods of tears. So, you know, Krishna's there for them. I don't worry. I let them make the choice.
Yeah.
And if it's
That's
It's their
cool.
destiny.
That's
It's their
cool.
destiny. And I think a lot of other devotees let their kids make the choice. But I mean, those around the institutions, they're more institutionalized. So they send their kids to the Hare Krishna schools, which ain't a
Okay.
bad thing. They're good schools. So.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. What can I say? Okay, Tonya, am I going to be single forever? With four men chasing you, the fabulous four, the Fab Four. Well, you'll be busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you got a day off Friday. How's that? So no, you won't be single. How's that? Is that good? Is that good enough for you? Just plan your days, young lady. Plan your days. You have a great time. Anyway, Jamuna, Amuna, Jivana.
I'll tell you what, make it easy. Just call me Jamoon. Everybody
Jamoon.
calls me Jamoon.
Jamoon. What? I
Yeah,
mean,
like Jar Rastafari and Moon, as in moon in the sky. Jamoon,
yeah.
Jamoon, Jamoon. That's it.
Jamoon. Jamoon.
That's it.
Hey.
Easy. You can't forget that, can you?
No, I can't forget Jamoon. Like I said, I can't forget this evening. This evening's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I've
Absolutely
enjoyed
amazing.
myself. I love talking about Krishna, so it's a really good thing for me anyway.
A lot of people saying thank you. A lot of people saying so cool, fascinating. And Paul
Pleasure.
says,
It's a real pleasure,
great
guys.
show, very
No,
interesting,
no,
great guy.
out of it.
Oh, him. Okay, all right. Yes. Anyway, just to say a very, very good evening to you. We'll see you soon. See you soon. And I'm sure we'll do some other shows in the future there just to get things going. Because you also like to do a show on talking about the Matrix, resetting the Matrix.
Yes, it's actually it's actually called matrix re-imprinting, and it's an offshoot of EFT, right? EFT is emotional freedom techniques. It's just a way of helping people to deal with their traumas and their stresses. But matrix re-imprinting is next level. That's when you go into a trauma. We find the trauma that's troubling them. And we take them back in their mind, a bit like hypnotism. We take them back in their mind to that trauma, and then we rewrite it in a way that doesn't give them problems anymore.
We're going to have to talk about this. We're going to get you on for another show, Matrix Reprinting. As much as I do hypnosis and past life regression and going back into inner child therapy, doing this through Hare Krishna, I think is absolutely fantastic. And it'd be great to talk to you about it. But in the meantime, wish you a fabulous, fabulous evening. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being my guest this evening. And I think a big round of applause to you, sir. Big round of applause indeed. And thank you very much, Grace, for watching your daughter too in the other room. Thank you. And guys, good night. See you tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock UK, 11 o'clock in Spain. And if you're somewhere else in the world, if you're in Australia, you'll probably be able to watch us. In America, you'll probably be fast asleep. But anyway, guys, see you very, very soon. Thank you very much for joining us. And Jamuna, what's that name again? I've got to call you?
You can call me Jamoon, but it's Jamuna Jivana.
Jamoon, thank you so much. And to everybody who's joined us tonight on the show, thank you so much. It's been absolutely fabulous. And I wish you a fabulous evening and so entertaining. And we'll do this again. Okay, guys.
Right. See you soon.
See you soon. Have a good one.
Bye.